Welcome to Experiments in Happiness with Michelle Lemus, the podcast for high achieving women who've checked all the boxes but still feel something's missing.
Today, we're diving into something I call the someday swap. You know, that little voice in your head that says, I'll be happy when I lose the weight. I'll be happy when I finally get the promotion. I'll be happy when things finally slow down. It's a sneaky voice, isn't it? At first, it sounds motivating, like a carrot dangling in front of us. But here's the catch. Every time we say it, we're basically telling ourselves, I can't be happy yet. Not until some perfect, magical future moment happens. And the kicker, that magical moment always moves. You lose the weight, and now you want to lose a little more. You get the promotion, and suddenly there's a new title to chase. It's like happiness keeps sprinting just ahead of you, no matter how fast you go. This, my friends, is what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. If you've ever felt that fleeting thrill of achievement slip away the moment you reach a goal, you've felt it firsthand. So here's the experiment. What if, instead of waiting for someday, we swapped it for today? The someday swap is surprisingly simple. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I'll be happy when, you stop and replace it with, I'm happy because. Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is some cheesy positivity trick, hear me out. This doesn't mean you stop having goals or dreams. It doesn't mean you stop striving. What it does mean is that you stop postponing happiness until the stars finally align. Think of it like this: happiness isn't a reward for checking off boxes. It's a muscle you build, and the someday swap is your first set of reps. What happened when I tried it? When I first tried this, I'll be honest, it felt awkward. My brain kept sprinting into the future. It wanted to tell me all the reasons I couldn't be happy yet. But slowly, when I practiced the swap, something shifted. For example, instead of thinking, I'll be happy when this project is done, I said, I'm happy because I actually get to work on something challenging that pays the bills. That simple reframing made the day feel lighter. Instead of, I'll be happy when I lose the last 10 pounds, I thought, I'm happy because I walked 3 miles today and my body carried me through it. Suddenly, my achievements weren't just milestones for later, they were victories today. And instead of, I'll be happy when we finally take a vacation, I realized, I'm happy because I laughed with my kids over dinner tonight. None of these situations were perfect, but noticing the little things made me realize happiness isn't waiting down the road. It's tucked into tiny moments you can feel right now. Here's a little extra trick. You can actually make the swap even more fun by noticing the unexpected. Like, I'm happy because the barista spelled my name right today, or I'm happy because my dog didn't wake me up at 5 a.m. Yes, even tiny things count. But why does it work? Here's the sciencey side that makes this more than just a feel-good hack. Interrupts the hedonic treadmill. Your brain stops endlessly chasing the next thing and learns to find joy in the present. Activates gratitude. Naming what's already good strengthens neural pathways for appreciation, literally rewiring your brain to notice the positive. Reduces stress. Living in not yet keeps your nervous system on edge. Living in already lets it relax. Builds resilience. Even when life feels messy, you can still point to reasons to be happy today. Think of it as mental training for happiness. Just like exercise builds your muscles, this builds your capacity for joy, contentment, and perspective. Let me share a few more stories from real life. One friend of mine realized she was constantly saying, I'll be happy when I have a bigger house. When she tried the swap, she started noticing the little things in her current home: morning sunlight through the kitchen window, the sound of her kids playing in the backyard. That simple shift made her feel more peace and contentment in her day to day life. Another friend kept telling herself, I'll be happy when I finally have a clean house. When she swapped it, she noticed small wins. I'm happy because I managed to clear the kitchen counter today. Those small acknowledgments kept her motivated without the guilt spiral. Notice a pattern here? Happiness doesn't require perfection. It's about noticing what's already present. Okay, your turn. The Someday Swap Challenge. Here's the experiment challenge for this week. Catch yourself every time you think, I'll be happy when. Swap it for, I'm happy because, even if it's something tiny, like your coffee tasting amazing this morning. Write down one swap each day. At the end of the week, look back on your list and notice how much happiness was already there. Extra challenge. Share one swap with a friend or family member. Not only does it reinforce your own mindset, but it spreads a little joy around too. Here's the bigger lesson I learned. Swapping someday for today doesn't make me less ambitious. I still have goals, still chase dreams. But now those goals feel like bonuses, not requirements for my happiness. Because happiness isn't a finish line you cross after checking off a list. It's a practice, it's a choice. And the someday swap is one of the simplest ways to start practicing it today. So here's my question for you. Right now, in this exact moment, what's one thing you can say, I'm happy because about? Take a deep breath. Say it out loud if you can. Feel it. That's not just a feel good moment, it's your brain rewiring itself for joy. Thanks for listening to Experiments in Happiness. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who might be stuck in the someday loop. And if you haven't yet, hit follow so you don't miss next week's experiment. Until then, I'm Michelle, reminding you that happiness isn't later, it's now.
Thanks for listening to Experiments in Happiness. You can find more tools and resources at experimentsinhappiness.com.